This is Case Closed, crime stories from the golden age of radio. Welcome back to Case Closed, your weekly hour of old-time radio crime every Wednesday at relicradio.com. Before we get to our show this week, a quick reminder to donate at donate.relicradio.com or click on the donate link when you're on the website if you'd like to help support this and all of the shows, help keep them coming every week. We don't have any advertising, so your support is always appreciated and needed. And thank you, as always, to those who have helped out. Our first story this week comes from Walk Softly Peter Troy. We'll hear The Repentant Redhead from December 17th, 1963. After that, it's Broadway Is My Beat and the Blanche Dermit Murder Case, his story from December 16th, 1952.
Walk softly, Peter Troy.
And now, Peter Troy investigates The Repentant Redhead.
This girl Julie I met a moment ago, she's what scriptwriters call my girl Friday. You'll meet her again in a little while, but right now there's another redhead you should meet. Her name is Janine. Ah, Janine. Here's tranquility for you. I think of her and I see a serene picture of complete peace and tranquility.
You beast! You double-crossing, mealy-mouthed, philandering beast!
If you see what I mean.
I hate you.
Now, Janine.
And I never want to see you again.
Now, darling.
And don't darling me, Steve Rennick.
But you don't...
What's the names of the girls?
There's no one but you, beautiful. And go easy on the glassware, will you?
She was here, and not so long ago. I can still smell her perfume.
Well...
I could kill you.
Oh, my public would hate you for that.
Steve Rennick, the poor man Steinbeck. You're as corny and false as the hero of your own books.
Now, honey, let's have a little respect.
I don't know why I'm so crazy about you.
Then, Julie.
I could kill you, Steve. Maybe one day I will.
Honey buns and homicide don't mix. Go put some powder on your nose and I'll take you out to dinner. Go on now. I'll phone for a reservation at Odonino's. Pink champagne and your sort of music.
Uh-huh. He just twists me around his little finger. Steve! Steve, what happened? Steve,
That gun on the floor. Janine, don't touch it.
I'll get a doctor.
Too late. Honey buns and homicide, baby. Honey buns and homicide.
Steve.
Hey, what's going on in there? I have a shot. Mr. Rennick, are you all... Hey, what happened? What have you done?
Nothing.
Nothing. Mr. Rennick's lying there like that, and you're holding a gun, and you say you've done nothing?
It was Peter Cheney, was Earl Stanley Garner, and the late unlamented Steve Rennick. They were the aristocracy of the crime writers, I guess. But now Steve Rennick was the central character in a real live murder story. A single mundane bullet had ended his career. And the primary suspect? Oh, she was slick, all right. Janine Lee, a very repentant redhead who urgently needed the services of Peter Troy.
I didn't do it, Mr. Troy. I swear I didn't do it.
When the janitor broke in, you were in the apartment alone with him, and you were holding the gun that killed him, Miss Lee.
And you want Mr. Troy to believe you didn't do it?
Now, take it easy, Julie.
Oh, Pete, you can't afford to take this case.
The way things are, I can't afford not to.
I'm offering you a sizable piece of money, Mr. Troy, to find out who really did kill Steve Rennick.
Okay, make with a pencil, Julie. Get all this on paper. Now, Miss Lee, that gun.
It belonged to Steve. He kept it in his bureau drawer.
Uh-huh. How long were you in that other room?
A minute, no more.
And someone could have been hiding in the apartment all the time.
Well, I suppose so. The closet, kitchen, anywhere.
The neighbors said they heard a bit of a din coming from the place.
Yes, well, Steve and I was having an argument with him. With milk glass vases? Well, I get carried away.
What was the argument about?
Women.
So?
Steve was my man.
But he played around.
Yes.
Names?
I don't know.
Now, come on, Miss Lee. You want some help? Okay, cooperate. Don't forget your pride.
Well, I was his... Well, we were sort of engaged, you understand. The others, There was a model, dark, Italian-y sort of woman. Her name was Francesca de Militore. She worked for one of the big Italian fashion houses.
Gascony?
Yes. Then there was Paula Stevens.
Oh, such one.
Yes.
Keep going.
Oh, I don't know any of the others by name. He only saw them occasionally.
But he saw one of them yesterday.
Yes, I could still smell a perfume in the place. Thick and heavy. And there was a glass with lipstick on it. She must have left just before I got in.
Okay. Oh, anything else?
Just that I didn't kill him.
I'm sorry, Miss Lee. Your time's up.
Oh, please, Inspector Mellenby, I have to talk...
Look, I don't know how you talked me into letting you see Troy in the first place.
Oh, come now, Inspector.
It'll be enough from you, Julie.
Mellenby, give me another 5 minutes, huh?
No. Any more interviews with your client, Troy, will have to be made in the cells, and you'll get written permission from her lawyer. Sergeant, take Miss Lee away, please.
This way, Miss Lee.
Mr. Troy, I didn't kill Steve Renner.
What? Julie, my angel, I love you dearly, but there are times when
You don't honestly think she's innocent, do you?
Well, now, I don't know.
Oh, come off it.
Inspector, she is a redhead. Her vital statistics are 36, 23, 36. She has big blue eyes and long, lustrous lashes. All of which means, as far as Pete is concerned, she's innocent.
Have you booked her yet, Inspector?
Of course, it's an open and shut case. Don't you know about Relic?
Yeah, best-selling crime author, likes the ladies.
And a grade-A heel. According to my information, he was one of the most unpopular men in London.
So?
So he had this coming to him. Seems he's double-crossed just about everyone around the place. He's just violated a contract with his publisher. Crossed up his agent on one occasion. Nothing. They weren't at his place when he was killed.
Well, how do you know?
Take a tip, Troy. Keep out of this one. The case is closed.
It's not closed. Not until that girl's tried and a verdict pronounced.
Can I help you?
I'd like to speak to Mr. Troy, please. My name's Melissa Morgan. I'm the director of the Morgan Publishing Company.
Oh.
Well, don't look so startled.
I'm sorry, Miss Morgan. It's just that, well, frankly, I can't visualize you sitting behind a company director's desk.
That's unfortunate. But may I see Mr. Troy? It's about the Relic case. We were his publishers.
Oh. Yes, of course. Excuse me, ma'am. Peter, there's a Miss Morgan here to see you, a director of the Morgan Publishing Company.
Oh, that's nice. Send her in.
You may go in now, Miss Morgan.
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Troy.
Good morning, Miss Morgan. Well, please sit down.
Thank you.
Now, my secretary said...
I'm here to discuss the Steve Rennick case, Mr. Troy.
Oh?
We published his novels, you know.
Ah.
We were all very sorry to hear of his death.
I'll bet you were.
I beg your pardon.
Oh, forgive me, Miss Morgan. I've been a private investigator a long time. It makes you cynical, you know?
I don't understand.
I'm investigating the case on behalf of Miss Janine Lee.
Yes, I know that.
I've been making a lot of inquiries.
And?
I heard that Steve Rennick was about to drop the Morgan Publishing Company.
So?
Which means you'd have lost the residual rights to his novels. That would have meant a loss of about £250,000 to the Morgan Publishing Company over the years.
When my father founded this company, Mr. Troy...
It was nothing. It still is nothing without Steve Rennick's novels. £250,000, Miss Morgan. Makes you think, doesn't it?
Of what?
Of motive for murder.
Janine Lee killed Steve. No, I'm not saying he didn't deserve to die, and I'm not saying she didn't have a motive.
Then what are you saying?
Steve's dead and she killed him. Let the matter rest there. Don't go digging around for any other motives, Mr. Troy. None exist.
Well, now, I'd like proof of that.
The police are satisfied. You should be, too.
And if I'm not?
Do you take a delight in courting trouble, Mr. Troy?
Oh. Now, that sounds like a veiled threat to me.
Well, I'll unveil it. Forget about Steve Rennick's death, Mr. Troy. Forget your investigations. There's £300 here in my bag for you. If you do just that.
And if I don't?
There's trouble. Now, about that £300.
Lady, please, just one client at a time, huh?
You're going to be sorry. So very sorry. Such a shame. Attractive men like you don't grow on trees.
You say the sweetest things in between threats.
I'm darn sure this fire escape isn't safe.
Now, just hold tight, Julie. I'll have this window open in a minute.
There's a law against this, you know. It's called breaking and entering.
So there's a law. I have to get inside Rennick's apartment.
Why?
Got it. Come on, honey, but inside.
Oh, they could have warned me about this. I wouldn't have worn a tight skirt.
Well, I like tight skirts.
There is a front door, you know.
Uh-huh. There's also a couple of big gendarmes watching it.
That I find significant.
Torch?
He lived high and wild, didn't he? A real wolfslayer if I ever saw one.
Yeah. Somewhere here, there's the answer.
May I remind you that the police think they've already got it?
So impress me.
And they're bound to have searched this place.
Yeah. What would they have been searching for? Just something else to tie Janine Lee in with Rennick's murder. I'm looking at it from another angle. Looking for another suspect.
I don't think you'll find one. Oh, what's this? Draft of this next novel, half of it anyway.
Hasn't finished it.
Oh, when you look at the title, Honey Buns and Homicide. It's only up to page 148, huh?
149's here in the typewriter.
So this manuscript smells of perfume. And it's not Janine's brand either. It's thick and heavy.
It's interesting. It wasn't Melissa's either. Exactly how many women are there mixed up in this case? Rennick must have collected them like other men collect stamps.
Now look at this typing.
What's the matter with it?
Look at the line I just typed. And look at the typing on the rest of the page. They're different. The manuscript isn't being typed on this machine at all.
Julie, my girl, you've earned a bonus.
Now settle for last week's salary.
Visitors. That's the torch. Someone's at the window coming in on the fire escape. We must have started somehow.
Can you see who it is?
Not a darn thing. Keep down. What the devil?
Wait. There's petrol they're spraying around.
Okay, I think it's time we...
There's heavy fire.
And they're getting away, too.
What, Peter, we're trapped. The flames are all around the window.
The front door, come on. Oh. Torch.
Oh, I've dropped it.
Well, this way, the front door's over here. Julie.
The door's locked.
Of course. Police have sealed off the apartment. You can be certain of one thing. This definitely wasn't Be Kind to Peter Troy week. Maybe that intruder knew we were there, maybe he didn't. Either way, it didn't make much difference. Steve Rennick's apartment had to be destroyed. And brother, a petrol fire is a good way of destroying anything, including yours truly, plus private secretary. In just 2 minutes, that whole place was a raging inferno. The flames cut off our retreat to the window and fire escape. On top of that, Inspector Mellenby's boys had put a police seal on the front door. And life was just a little more than tedious just then. And I was in no mood for any jokes about barbecued private eyes.
I thought you said there were policemen guarding this place.
Well, there were. The idiots must be asleep. Okay, Julie, stand back. They issued me with a permit for this thing, so I guess it's time I used it. Hey, what's going on? Plenty. Or do they always have fires around here? You okay, Julie?
Yes, I think so.
What the devil's going on here?
A fire, and I didn't start it.
Call the fire brigade, John. Yes, sir, right away.
I just knew you'd get into some sort of trouble, Mr. Troy.
Knew it or organized it, Miss Morgan?
There was a police seal on that door.
Look, I can explain, but nobody's going to believe me. However, I would like to know how Miss Morgan got into the act. She got onto the scene very quickly, didn't she? Too quickly.
For the time being, we'll all concentrate on trying to put out this fire until the fire brigade arrives. After that, you've got some questions to answer, Troy. You expect me to believe a cock and bull story like that, Troy?
Yes. It happens to be the truth.
This intruder of yours, was it male or female?
I couldn't tell. The room was in darkness.
Anyway, they didn't actually come into the room, Inspector. Just shoved up the window and poured petrol over the carpet.
Well, I don't think there was any intruder. I think this is all a figment of their very fertile imagination.
Now, don't you start. I'd still like to know what you were doing on the scene, Miss Morgan.
She was with me, Troy. She'd requested permission to get Rennick's half-finished manuscript.
Honey Buns and Homicide.
What's that?
Well, that was the title of it.
Just a minute.
Something wrong?
I don't know. Just a minute. Yes, listen to this. This is a copy of Janine Lee's statement after they arrested her. Steve Rennick's last words were, "Too late, honey buns and homicide, baby. Honey buns and homicide."
Well, he must have been some egotist to mention the name of his book in his dying breath. Miss Morgan, What do you intend to do with the manuscript? Half a book isn't much use to anyone, is it?
We'll have one of our staff writers finish it.
Staff writers? Oh, you employ staff writers?
Well, there are a couple of people we can call on.
Either of them worked for Steve Rennick before?
Yes, one of the proofreaders.
A girl?
Troy, I don't
Just a minute, Inspector. There's a reason for this, believe me. One of them's a girl, Miss Morgan?
Yes.
Name?
Well, Miss Morgan?
Helen Fremont. She used to do a lot of secretarial work for Steve, too.
Inspector, I suggest we go talk to the lady.
May I remind you that you're under arrest?
Okay, but I've got a hunch.
I don't give a hoot about your hunching.
Oh, come now, Inspector. You know about keeping his hunches. There have been a couple of times in the past when they've helped you quite a lot.
That'll be enough from you.
Now, where do we find Helen Fremont, Miss Morgan?
Her brother owns a cellar club in Soho, the Carlisle. She spends a lot of time there.
I'm sorry, Mr. Troy. We don't open till 6.
I'm not a customer, Mr. Fremont. I just wanted to have a chat with your sister. Helen is here, isn't she?
Who wants to know?
Peter Troy. Just tell her it's about Janine Lee and Steve Rennick. She'll understand.
Now, look.
Tell her.
I'll be watching you, Troy.
You do that.
You wanted to see me, Mr. Troy?
If you're Helen Fremont.
I am.
You know what I like about this case? It's just oozing with pulchritude. You know what pulchritude means? It means feminine glamour. Then, of course, you know what the word means. After all, you're a writer, aren't you?
Hardly.
Oh, but I hear different.
What do you want?
The truth. I found it's an elusive thing. Much more elusive than that perfume you're wearing.
What are you driving at, Mr. Troy?
Didn't anyone ever tell you about that perfume, Helen? It doesn't become you at all. It's too, thick and heavy. And it's like a trademark.
What do you mean?
Rennick's apartment reeked of it the night he was killed. The manuscript of his half-finished novel reeks of it, too.
What are you talking about?
Honey buns and homicide. And I don't mean the title of his book, either.
Hurry?
Trouble?
I think there's going to be.
You'd better tell that fella to keep away from me. I don't like his face. I'm liable to want to change the shape of it. Why, you... No! If you see what I mean.
You want to get away with it?
No, Harry, we don't want any trouble.
Yeah, but it...
What do you want with me, Troy?
Confession. This isn't a joke, Miss Fremont. You killed Steve Rennick.
Did I? Tell me about it.
First, I'll tell you this. Steve Rennick was no writer. In his whole life, he only wrote one book, the first one. That caught the public's eye, and it was a bestseller. But he couldn't maintain the standard. Well, his name was made, but he just didn't have the talent to write another novel.
Then who wrote the others?
You did. You were his ghostwriter. Oh, don't deny it. Melissa Morgan spilled the beans down at Scotland Yard.
All right, so I won't deny it. I wrote all Steve's books after that first one. But that doesn't mean I killed him.
Doesn't it? All right. Let's look at the facts for a minute. Now, it had to be someone who knew their way around Steve's apartment. Someone who knew where everything was kept. His gun, for instance. Just before you pulled that stunt with the petrol and matches, I was searching his apartment. Now, he kept his gun in his bureau drawer. And it was locked. So, apart from Steve, only one other person would have the key to that drawer. The girl who was not only his ghostwriter, but his part-time secretary. You.
That's not evidence.
Now, coming back to that fire. Now, the person who broke in through that window didn't even use a torch, and the room was pitch black. Therefore, the intruder knew her way around, knew where every stick of furniture was. You. You're the one that fits. And then we come to the reason behind the fire.
Oh, yes, the fire. Tell me about that, Mr. Troy.
That manuscript beside Rennick's typewriter was written on another machine. Now, that's logical, isn't it?
Of course. As I wrote the books, it's obvious that the manuscripts would be written on my own machine.
Right. Page 149 was on the roller of his machine.
He always kept the last page in his typewriter so that any visitor would assume he was working on it.
Oh, that's so. But then again, on the sideboard next to the front door, we found the remains of some more of the manuscript. Yes, ma'am. Pages 150 to 163.
So?
You dropped those pages into him the day before yesterday. Just a few seconds before you pulled the trigger and killed him.
You're crazy.
He couldn't do the usual routine of slipping the last page into his machine. Because he was dead.
You can prove all this.
Oh, I don't have to. No, the police are going to look after that part of it. But I haven't finished yet, either. We still have to find a motive, don't we?
Then can you?
Well, I can try. How does this fit? There was something else in that apartment which had to be destroyed. The original manuscript of Steve Rennick's very first novel. The one he wrote himself. And why did that have to be destroyed? Because he wrote a dedication on the front page, didn't he? It read, "For Helen, my devoted wife." And that's you, isn't it?
No. You're making a mistake.
That's why you tolerated him stealing all your glory. You had to do it. His publishers wanted it that way, didn't they? And they still want it that way. Because by now, Steve Rennick's name sells his novels just as much as their plot lines. But you'd had enough of them, hadn't you?
You don't know what it is like. No one could know.
Janine Lee?
That was the one he was falling in love with. The others didn't count. They were nothing. But Janine Lee. Yes, I killed Steve. And I'd do it again.
Okay, Troy. So now you've got the story.
I sure have, Buster.
But you're not going to live to repeat any of what you just found out.
Harry, don't be a fool. Put away that
Out of the way, Helen. Steve got everything he deserved. And now this nosy...
Drop that gun, Fremont.
Why, you...
Police, drop that gun.
Oh, I meant to tell you, Helen. The police came in here with me. They had to. You see, I'm still under arrest for unlawful entry.
Oh,
Careful, Troy.
It's okay, Inspector. You only got him in the shoulder. Did you get all that?
yes, the sergeant got it all down in shorthand. All right, you'll have to come with us, Mrs. Rennick. You too, Fremont.
Mrs. Rennick. No one's called me that in a long time.
Just to tie up the ends for you, Helen was in Steve's apartment all the time. All the time Janine was there anyway. She heard the row, every word of it. And that was the final straw. She'd already taken his gun, so the thought of killing him wasn't a new one. As soon as Janine went into the other room to powder her nose, Helen came on out of the closet, shot Rennick, threw the gun on the floor, and lit out, leaving the repentant redhead to take the rap. As for the fire, well, it was the only way she could get rid of that evidence without attracting suspicion to herself. And as for Melissa Morgan, well, she wanted the secret kept. Her company had too much at stake. She wasn't at all keen on having me delving around looking for the truth. I was bound to find out about Helen Rennick being Steve's ghost. Well, what with ghosts and gals and honeybuns and homicide, it was quite a case, wasn't it?
Broadway Is My Beat, from Times Square to Columbus Circle, the gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway Is My Beat, with Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover. Broadway flips the calendar, stares at the word December, holds chin between thumb and forefinger, and wonders. What happened? Winter is here, and the year is suddenly dying. Proof positive. The wind, rising from the river that twists a headline around an ankle, lifts it up again, flattens it against the gutter, and there it is in boldface. So many shopping days left. So the evergreens are chopped, mounted, dyed blue, and tinseled. Token of holiday season. Token that time's getting narrow for the layaway plan. So get with it. All you need's $1. It'll hold the dream till Christmas. You follow the decorations downtown and take a left. East 37th, where the season is manifest by holly in apartment windows and electric candles. And the latest thing, Merry Christmas in phosphorus paint to glow in the dark. 11 o'clock time, nighttime where I was, and Miss Gaffney's apartment, and Miss Gaffney.
look at the joint, will you?
I'm looking. I've been looking for the last 5 minutes, Miss Gaffney. Now, will you settle down and tell me what...
2 years, I say, to get a full-length mirror. Now look at it. Bing! And now look what I've got. Confetti.
You ready to tell me what happened?
You know what happened. What's been happening around this neighborhood for the last couple of nights?
I mean to you.
I was trying on in front of the mirror, that's what. And that sniper took a pot shot at me.
Why didn't you pull the blind down?
At my age.
Well, you're lucky. You see the slug?
Huh?
Here, look at it. Embedded here in the mirror backing. 38, head high. Like I said, lucky.
Yeah. And I was standing right here. 2 more inches and Myrtle Gaffney...
That's right. Now, let's take it from the beginning. Did you notice anyone following you tonight when you got home?
I could have been killed.
Or anyone loitering around outside?
He could have killed me, and you stand here and
We don't even know what he looks like, Miss Gaffney. We want you to help.
He could have killed me. He could have killed me, shot me dead, killed me.
And her thin-lipped anger, the tightening hysteria fitted themselves into the pattern of the city's newest violence. And there was the other emotion, that the shattering of mirror had been this close to the shatter and burst of her life. That her life had been balanced on the bad aim of a man with a gun. That her life had been target for indiscriminate fury. And against terror was only this.
You protect me, you hear? That's what you people are paid for. To protect helpless, lonely women, you hear?
And give her the promise. And phone it in. And leave her now to darkness and bolted doors and windows blinded and locked against another coming of death. And walk this winter streets to where a room is, and hot plate, and minute coffee. And for a while after that, wander the narrow room. And for a while after that, sleep. And next day at headquarters is used in attendance at lineups where Miss Gaffney can identify no one. In marking areas on a map, trying to plot the boundaries of a sniper's violence. The cultured calm of the woman on the phone who was very definite she was next on the sniper's list, but was unafraid. And suddenly there's quick winter twilight and the comment upon it by Detective Muckerman.
Look at him, Danny. Millions running home to a hot supper and take what eats you out on the kids. A way to live, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Me? My life is suddenly mixed up with panicky ladies who've had pot shots taken at them. That Lois Stewart over on West 30, for instance.
You've already told me about her.
She wrote me a little poem how her life was really contained in that flower vase the sniper shot to pieces in her flat. She even wrote it down for me. Here, I'll read it.
You've already read it to me.
Will you take the reaction of this Lois Stewart and pose it against the reaction of Mrs. B. Morris on West 32nd? Did I tell you about her?
No, but I'll read it in your report.
This one cried a lot. Hung on to me. She was putting in a light bulb, she told me, when wham, through the window the sniper shot the bulb, right? I'll get it then. Lieutenant Clover's office, Detective Muggerman. Yeah. Yeah, where? 2126. Got it. Maybe this time, Danny.
Maybe this time what?
3-4 people spotted a guy running across the roof, apartment house 2126 West 39. Guy was carrying a rifle.
Let's go.
Lieutenant. I got him, Lieutenant. Bringing him down.
Good.
Yeah. Oh, here they come.
Let me go. I want to go home. Let me go.
I'll take him, officer. Come on, you.
Take your hands off of me.
Find the gun, officer?
No, but he had a gun. We'll find it.
Get him in the car, Muckerman. Hand me the flash, Muckerman.
Yeah. Here. He's a kid.
What's your name, son?
Mickey. Mickey Ruick.
How old are you, Mickey?
Going on 16.
You live near here?
No, Brooklyn.
What are you doing here?
You were on that roof with a gun. What were you doing there? What'd you do with the gun?
I want to go home.
Go home, Mickey. Later. First, we want to know what you were doing prowling around on that roof with a gun.
You like to shoot at women, Mickey?
I didn't shoot at anybody.
Come on, kid. You just tell us. We'll understand. You like all this publicity you're getting, being called a sniper, scaring everybody. You like it, don't you?
Makes you feel pretty big, doesn't it, Mickey?
I didn't shoot at anybody. I read it.
Go on, Mickey.
I read in the papers about the sniper.
Found the gun, Lieutenant.
Here, thanks.
In the alley. You must have heaved it off the roof.
Take a look, Mickey.
Plastic. Tough yourself in the real thing. Is this your gun, Sonny?
Yeah, it's mine.
Where'd you get it?
I took it. All right, I stole it. Department store. This afternoon after I read about the sniper, a toy shop. Look.
Yeah?
I was playing, that's all.
You read books tell you how to play like this?
Lieutenant means comic books, things like that.
You.
What?
You're a real lieutenant, huh?
Well, what about it, Mickey?
Can I see your gun?
Turn him over to juvenile, Muggavan. Then you can start looking for a sniper all over again.
Danny, it's all right I disturbed you for a minute.
Come on in, Dr. Sinsky. I was just...
Yeah, I see what you're doing, Danny. May I also look at the portraits?
A series of them, Doctor. Take your pick. The department artist sketched them from fragmentary descriptions given us by the women who were shot at by the sniper, helpful bystanders, a few crackpots. All different.
These are the faces of violence, huh, Danny?
Anybody's face.
So what you look for is anybody. A killer who's been denied the death of women, perhaps because of some slight defect in vision. Perhaps because his family didn't buy him the eyeglasses he needed when he was a child.
Whatever it is that's kept him from killing, let's not knock it, huh, Dr. Sinsky?
I don't know how to apologize for my feeble attempts at irony, Danny.
I forget it.
Yeah, I'll try to do that. I heard Detective Muggavan brought in a boy to juvenile, the boy prowling rooftops with a plastic gun.
Uh-huh.
How old was he, Danny?
I'm going on 16, he said.
A boy. A child. And images of a world behind window shades and hatred for it. This sniper, Danny.
And what about him?
Find a man whose face matches an artist's sketch and then look behind it and underneath it. And remember another child who prowled rooftops with a plastic gun.
Mr. Stinsky? Danny?
Oh, what is it, Jim?
That sniper chap.
Yeah?
He's at it again. House 1843 East 39. Just came in over the phone. Also?
Also what, Gino?
This time, he didn't miss.
Any comment, Doctor? Any observations you care to make on how we're really dealing with a frustrated child? How we should treat him?
No comment, Danny.
In that case, get me a squad car, Gino. And go there. In what was night-still brownstone house with an early Christmas tree lighted in its living room window, its promise to be viewed from the street has become this. Cluster and steaming whisper of crowd peering close through window, beyond tree to where lay another promise. The yet unopened and hidden gift of the season's violence. And get past them and inside is a woman sprawled against fabric of sofa, and a man kneeling at her feet.
Blanche, listen to me. Just listen. There'll be a doctor in a minute, and he'll know what to do. Blanche, please.
Mister...
What do you want?
I'm from the police.
I'll get out of your way. She's dead, isn't she? My wife's dead. I knew it all the time.
Must have been quick. Where the bullet struck just above the eye. Had to be quick.
Oh, wait a minute. I want to let them know. I want to let those people outside know.
She's dead. That's what you're waiting for, isn't it? She's dead. Wait, I'll show you. Now you can have a good look. Look at my wife. Look at my dead wife. Step right up, ladies and gentlemen. Step right up and see this.
You are listening to Broadway Is My Beat, written by Morton Fine and David Friedkin, and starring Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover.
The merry, merry holidays begin their swift curve into the canyon street, and Broadway rushes the season. Against the distant cry of on dancer, on prancer, the sleek dancers, the eager prancers bargain for the sprig of mistletoe, buy it, hang it in the doorway. Under it strike the holiday pose, and watch the winter women walk by, the scented fur hugged close, December wind rippling it against their cheeks, their mouths. The same wind that breathes them away from you. So, shrug a shoulder, kid. Make jaunty the scarf and relax. Under no Yuletide tree will it be barren, according to the advertisements. Where I was, was. Winter's night flowing through newly shattered window into a room where mantelpiece was simulated marble, where fireplace was 3 gas logs neatly arranged, never consumed, where furniture was draped with embroidered fringed cloth. And this, room where death was.
You're cold, mister. I'll turn on a fire.
Never mind.
I shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have broken open the window and yelled at those people. They'll think I'm crazy.
Well, don't worry about it, Mr. Dermot.
Tell me something, mister.
What?
You've been around where people have been killed. Women, a man's wife, for instance. You see that a lot, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
Well, the husbands of those other women you've seen dead, what did they do? What did they say? I want to know so I won't louse up the etiquette.
Oh, Mr. Dermot.
They cry like I did. They go out of their head like I did. Tell me, mister.
You really need to know.
No, I got all I need to know. A little while ago, I had a wife. Now I got a memory. Blanche. Not how she is now, not how she was yesterday, sick, and the day before, a year before. But how Blanche was when she was young, when she was a girl. I should thank him. I should thank her killer. He left me remembering a girl.
Tell me how it happened, Mr. Dermot.
You know it happened. The sniper, he finally got a bullseye. My wife.
Were you here in this room with her?
Yeah, I was here in the room with her.
Did you notice anything? Hear anything?
I was in this room with Blanche. We were talking over who to give presents to this year, who we were going to get presents from.
Did you see anyone outside? Did anyone follow you home?
I'll run the evening down for you. 6 o'clock, I got home from work. 6:30, Blanche put dinner on the table like she did every night. We eat, we talk. Then she clears the table, washes the dishes. I go to the living room, sit in my chair, and read. Then I help her change into her nightgown and robe, and she comes in here with her embroidery, and we talk or we don't talk, depending on how she felt that day. Tonight was different. Tonight she felt good. And then she got killed.
But you understand, Mr. Dermot. You understand why?
No. I'm dense. I understand nothing. I don't understand how a crazy killer roams around loose when we got a smart police force like you. I don't understand why Blanche is dead. Do something for me, huh, mister?
What?
Leave me alone for a minute so I can figure it out, huh?
Watch him move away from you to the lonely place. The couch where his wife is dead. And watch him kneel again at her feet. And for a little while, the time he needed. Go to the door, whisper to the official intruders. They understand. It gives them the interval to adjust focus on cameras, to test with current width the spring and snap of steel tape, to smooth and make neat the folds of shroud. Then their spill into the room, and the man's instant is gone. So leave there and go home. And a new winter morning, at headquarters, and the joyous tidings of Sergeant Gino Pataglia. Were you happy, Gino?
In me, Danny, you are gazing upon a contented fellow.
Well, I'm glad.
Chuckling because last night was the Tartaglia night at our neighbors, the Renboms. Contented because a frolicsome time was had by all and sundry.
Gino.
Among which sundry was Fargo. Fargo Rembom, a veritable cock.
Fargo Rembom?
The western outlet for the Remboms, an uncle from Nevada, who did last night descend upon the eastern branch and did shower them with western-type goodies. Indian blankets, beaded belts, an Indian doll carrying on her back in lieu of a papoose, a bottle of Smirnoff's vodka. And for me, a feathered chief's headdress, which I will be glad to model for you come lunchtime.
Gino,
Oh, Danny, wait till you catch a gang of Chief Minnehaha Tartaglia. First to work, and then...
I hate to spoil your fun.
What must be, must be. In the matter of the deceased Mrs. Blanche Dermit, report from technical. Felled with a .38 caliber bullet of same type and markings as the sniper has been prone to use on other ladies. But with Mrs. Dermit, he made expert. Right above the eye.
Anything else, Gino?
From Detective Mugovan and others at work on the case during the night. This report from neighbors on Mrs. Dermit adds up to a nil. 12 years in the neighborhood, Danny. None of the neighbors knew her. All they knew, she was very quiet and a non-mixer.
How about her husband?
Has a little novelty shop on 7th Avenue. Open 9, close 5:30. Always bringing home novelties and gimcracks to the neighbors' kids. And that's
Do something for me, huh, Gino?
Anything?
Get a policewoman. Have her go out and buy herself a house dress. Then have her report to me in an hour.
Sure. But you want to see me in feathers?
Just get her, huh, Gino? And the setting up of it. Policewoman. Empty apartment in the neighborhood where the other shooting had taken place. Daytime chores for nighttime trap. And it was done. Then let the day drift backward into December. Watch it from the window at headquarters. Walk with it briefly. Twice to the corner restaurant where the food is always an adventure. Back to the office again and the window. And see day bleed grayly in the night.
Stakeout setup, Danny. Cruising. Squad car's waiting for us downstairs.
Beginning night is strung through with cold. And the hurrying shapes that curve backward in your vision. The street of the spinning lights. And turn off it. East 38th. Ride it slowly. Past the rows of brownstones and the corner stores and winter loneliness of Manhattan Street. And slowly past the lighted window, ground level, where a woman sits. Now clothed in a house dress and reading. Trapped. And past it, another corner turn and stop.
Coffee in the thermos, Danny. You want some?
Later. Hey, what's the time?
7:10. It's going to be a long night.
Yeah. Call in, Mugler.
Yeah. Car 43, car 43 reporting.
43.
Parked at southeast corner of East 38th and 3rd, according to Plan A.
Nothing from here. Car 22 reported suspicious acting man on 4th turning into 38th. Shook him down. Drunk. Unarmed.
Car 43, 10-4. Well?
Park further down the street, Mugler. I'm going to take a walk. If you need me, I'll probably be in a doorway around the corner.
Right.
Past the lighted window again. And the woman in the house dress. Policewoman. Reading. Cross the street and watch her. She gets up, frames herself against the light, stares the night. Sits down again, reads again. And the doorway directly across from her is cold plaster that holds 6 mailboxes. Directions to the tenants on how to live. And things to do in case of a bomb attack, illustrated. And in a while, a young woman comes up the steps, cloth coat around her waitress uniform, looks into an empty mailbox, looks emptily at you, goes into the house, trails echo of footsteps. And later a man leaves the house, checks his pockets, and goes off happy. Watch him walk down the street. And the squad car picks him up, trails him, drops him. And night becomes 9 o'clock. And the woman across the street sits, reads. Gets up, walks around the room. Sits, reads. And the 9 o'clock wind holds all the cold of the hours before and fills the street. And gusts of it break off and run into doorways, wrap themselves around people who wait there. And the light from the squad car blinks into the night and screams at it. Mugman!
Sniper, Danny. Just got a communication.
Where?
2 blocks from here on 40.
Let's go.
Come on, honey. Please wake up, honey.
You'll be all right, Mr. Garson.
Fainted up, baby.
A little drunk, too.
So what?
You want to tell me what happened, Mr. Garson?
Look at her lying there.
She was there in bed when she was shot at, right?
Poor baby. Wait till she wakes up and finds out she was shot at by the sniper. She'll faint all over again.
Just what happened? What?
I was reading to her.
Go on.
I just finished turning the page, and she was giving me my drink, and...
What?
I turned the page, and she was holding out the glass to me, and then it happened. Shot the glass right out of her hand. Over the book, my pajamas.
I think your wife is waking up, Mr. Garson.
It's all right, baby. Little bumblebee puppy. I'm here, little pussycat. Everything's all right.
Mr. Garson.
Look how she wakes up. A doll, baby. I think you better leave us alone now.
When Mrs. Garson feels better, I want you both down at headquarters to file a report.
Yeah, baby. Drink your carrots. Don't mind him, little rat. But he's leaving.
Well?
Shot came from the alley, through the bedroom window. The woman was in bed. Sniper shot a glass out of her hand.
Lucky.
Is she?
Well, I'd say she is. What would you say?
Consider it, Muggerman. 4 women were lucky. The 5th was killed. Think about it.
Well, I just told you.
Reverse it. Think about it the other way.
Yeah.
So let's make it calls, huh? Dermit. Mind if we come in?
Oh, come on.
This is Detective Muggerman, Mr. Dermit.
Oh, hi. I'm sorry about your wife, Mr. Dermit.
In here. Why don't you boys take off your coats?
Yeah. All right. When are you going to get your window fixed, Mr. Dermit?
Putting that cardboard in there's as far as I'm going to go. I'm moving.
Where are you going?
Away from here. Think I'm going to live here anymore?
Yeah, it must be real tough.
I can tell you this. I sure miss it.
How long were you married, Mr. Dermit?
I told you, 12 years.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten.
12 years. You're not going to believe this. We never had an argument.
Why not?
Huh?
Well, I've been married 14 years, and starting with our third anniversary, my wife and I had little arguments every week, and a big one once a month. And we're very happy. So why haven't you had any arguments, Mr. Dermit?
You didn't argue with my wife, miss.
Why not?
She'd get upset.
Oh, that's right. I'd forgotten.
You forgot what?
That your wife was a sickly woman.
You been checking on me?
What was the matter with your wife?
I asked you a question. You been checking on me?
But where do you keep in this drawer, Mr. Dermit?
Hey, Tom!
Knitting stuff. Just that, Danny.
What's the big idea of opening that drawer?
A lot of knitting in there. Your wife like to knit?
You just don't open any drawers without permission, you hear? Yeah, she likes to knit. She likes to crochet and tat and hook ruck. So what difference does that make?
She must have had a lot of time on her hands.
Well, what if she did? Well, hey, now what's the matter with you? I don't want you going around opening things. What do you think?
Nothing in here, Danny. A picture album, Christmas decoration.
What are you looking for, anyhow?
Let's talk some more about your wife, Mr. Dermit.
She was a good, sweet, kind woman.
Yeah, they all are. Did you hate her very much?
Hate her? I was married to
Yeah, I
her.
know. 12 years.
Why should I hate her?
A sickly woman, a woman who never went out, a woman who sat home all day.
Yeah, I'll try the kitchen, Danny.
What are you looking? Just tell me that, will you?
I'll cut it out, Mr. Dermit.
If you just tell me what he's looking for.
A gun.
You think I'm the sniper?
Are you?
You out of your mind?
Look at it this way, Mr. Dermit. 5 women were shot at. The only one who was hit, your wife. Not wounded either, killed. The other 4, drinks shot out of their hand. A light bulb shattered. A vase, a mirror.
My wife was unfortunate, that's all. The other 4...
Fortunate? At first, we thought we were looking for a man who couldn't shoot well, who was trying to kill and was missing. Now we're going on the premise that he was missing on purpose.
I don't understand what you're talking about.
Missing on purpose. A crack shot who could shoot out light bulbs through windows, who could kill your wife through a window.
What's he doing in there?
Let's go see him.
Well, you're breaking up my house?
You hid this marksman medal. Where'd you hide the gun? Here, look, Danny. Expert marksman's medal.
Where'd you hide the gun, Mr. Dermit?
What do you think I am?
Maybe a man who shot at a lot of women to get the word sniper in the newspapers, just so you could get one woman, your wife.
And take one last pot shot at a woman drinking booze in bed to clinch it.
You're crazy? Why should I kill my wife?
Look at it from our point of view, Mr. Dermit. You're a man who likes people, likes to be nice to children.
Likes to go outside sometimes, too, huh?
Yeah, my wife wouldn't let me do that.
Your wife, the woman who sits in a chair and knits. No friends, nobody to stop in.
No fun. 12 years of it. Not even any arguments. 12 years to get fed up.
You understand how it was?
Of course we do. The man figures he gets old soon enough.
A wife like that.
Sure. You live, you gotta have fun. Can't stay home all the time.
Would you?
Where's the gun?
Oh, you won't find it.
Threw it away?
Dismantled, tossed it in the river. Listen, you weren't kidding, would you?
About what?
About understanding.
You're a killer, we understand that.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean about my wife. What you said. How a man gets old too fast. How his life runs away from him and nobody to talk to. Sit in a room, feed her medicine, wait on her. Every night you go to sleep, dream about how it would be without her. You understand. I know you do.
The time of winter, daytime, leaves Broadway fast. You walk toward the shadows. Someone smiles and takes your hand, whispers to close your eyes, then bangs your head against the night. And your scream mixes well with the shriek of the riot. It's Broadway. The gaudiest, the most violent, the lonesomest mile in the world. Broadway. My beat.
Broadway Is My Beat, stars Larry Thor as Detective Danny Clover, with Charles Calvert as Battaglia and Jack Crucian as Muggavan. The program is produced and directed by Elliott Lewis, with music composed and conducted by Alexander Courage. In tonight's story, High Everback was heard as Mr. Dermot. Featured in the cast were Elvia Allman, Jerry Farber, Steve Roberts, and Hal Gerard.
Broadway Is My Beat has come to you through the worldwide facilities of the United States Armed Forces Radio and Television Service.
That's going to do it for Case Closed this week. Hope you enjoyed our shows this time. You can find more from Peter Troy, Broadway Is My Beat, past episodes of Case Closed, and thousands of other old-time radio episodes at relicradio.com. Don't forget to click on that donate button if you're able to help us out. And thank you again to all who have. And thanks for joining me this week. Be back next Wednesday with another hour of Case Closed.